Okay, so I got one of the questions was, how do I get past the mental block of being afraid to train to failure on a back squat? So I am not gonna lie, squats, they demand respect. It is always going to feel scary getting under a bar and having to push heavy ass weight. So I've had a lot of minor back injuries, so there's always gonna be that doubt in my head when I'm training with back squats. But for a really long time, I didn't really actually focus on pushing weight in a back squat. I found variations like the hack squat, Bulgarian split squats, pendulum squats. I found them to be more effective for me in building my strength and my confidence with squats. And I got there strong first, I would say. And then I feel like people try to really force themselves to get under a bar and to do movements like that just because they see it all the time on social media. But there's so many different variations that you can build strength and really build your legs when it comes to squats. For me, what changed recently with back squats was really building my trust and learning my body. So I know when I'm feeling some type of way and when I should or shouldn't back squat or push to that kind of weight. And what's really made a big difference for me too is the people that I train with when I'm back squatting. So really making sure that the person that is spotting me when I'm trying to push weight like that knows my body, knows how to spot me and support me and kind of mentally coach me through that mental ceiling that we kind of hit when we're trying to push to failure there. So I'm gonna be honest, you will not really see me pushing till failure on a back squat by myself. I'll usually do that when I have a good support system in the gym that day to train and a good spotter. But yeah, I would just say find variations that help you build your confidence, build your trust in your body, and then progressively work your way up on those back squats to failure. All right, so the next question was, what keeps you going day in and day out? Now, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's not motivation. It's just pure discipline and identity. That's the biggest thing for me. I feel like some days I'm fired up, some days I'm really tired and I just don't feel like showing up, but I do it anyways. And I made a decision a long time ago to myself that I was going to step into who I'm becoming fully. And you know, I also remind myself that on a daily basis, like my clients are watching me, my community is watching me for inspiration, my younger self is watching me grow through this process as well, and my future self is also watching me as I go through this day-to-day life. So, you know, I also really know what it feels like to be lost and to not have that clarity and that purpose and that drive to work towards something, and I never want to feel like that again. So regardless of how I'm feeling, I just stay the course, I show up, and I continue to work on what's in my control and focus on what's in my control. And honestly, it's just taking it one day at a time, working towards my future self and operating as my future self instead of waiting to be at that point. All right, so the next question is, if I wasn't a trainer, what would I be doing? Honestly, I get this question all the time, and it like really brings out like the vision of what I still plan on doing. It's not if I wasn't a trainer. So 100%, if I was not training online or in person, I would be traveling the world and getting paid to do it. So honestly, I still plan to do that. It's a work in progress, but even though I am a trainer now, I have a huge passion for seeing the world and God's creation and His glory, and just getting to experience new places and people and things. And it is something that I am working towards. I'm slowly transitioning into really just being a full online coach so that I can travel and get to maximize both of my dreams. I'll never really understand the desire that people have to like stay in the same city or the same place their whole life. I would say like I'm a free spirit. I love to just travel the world. So definitely something that's in the works. It's not a this or that. We're working towards that being the goal. Next question is, where do I see myself in the next 5 years? Honestly, one of the biggest goals and desires that I have placed on my heart is to retire my parents in the next 5 years. It is a huge goal of mine. Aside from that, as far as business goes, I don't just see a bigger business or a bigger like athletic community or anything like that. I really envision bigger impact. I really want G-Baby to go global. I want to be hosting wellness retreats, faith and fitness workouts and events. I see people flying in to come train with me and to experience these wellness retreats that I'd be hosting that are really helping people just grow mind, body, and spirit. I see myself serving God in a very, very powerful way and just really fulfilling being aligned and authentic in my journey, whether that be as an athlete or as a business owner or literally all areas of life, just fully embodied and aligned. All right, so the next question I got was, what's something I've always wanted to do but haven't had the chance to do yet? And honestly, this one's been on my heart for a while, but I have been dying to move to another country for like 3 to 6 months. Like actually not just be on vacation. Like I want to live there. I want to be intentional. I want to train. I want to meet new people, experience day-to-day living as if I was local to that space. I really believe that growth happens when you pluck yourself out of your comfort zone and you put yourself into a space where everything feels unknown, where you literally have to re-regulate your nervous system and learn things from scratch and just build new patterns and habits. And yeah, it's something that it's on the bucket list. It's gonna happen eventually. All right, the next question is, what's a season of my life that has changed me the most? And I would have to say this is probably 2 answers to this one, but the first one, and I feel like most people can relate to this, is heartbreak. I have gone through some very bad relationships in my lifetime, and I feel like every time something like that happens in my life, I get to know myself at a completely different depth. I realize so much more about my worth and who I am as a person, and it's just such a transformative space to be in. Not that I want that to be a reoccurring thing, but I appreciate those seasons of my life. And the second one would have to be, I don't know if everybody knows this, but at one point a few years ago, I had facial paralysis and it completely rewired my entire life. The way I operate, the way I think, speak, behave, the people I associate with, it completely flipped my life upside down. And it was one of the biggest catalysts to me really giving my life to Christ and getting to know myself at that kind of depth and getting to also know Christ at that kind of depth. So I would say that was a season that I wouldn't change for the world, even though it was a very difficult season for me. Next question is, do I ever struggle with my body image now? And I absolutely love this question because I think it's silly to pretend that you don't go through body dysmorphia or struggle with any kind of body image. I feel like competing, it teaches you discipline, but it also puts you in this space where you're kind of chasing perfectionism. And I've really had to learn how to take away my self-worth from my conditioning level. For a really long time, I used to believe that unless I was show ready, that people weren't going to find my content valuable or they weren't going to see the worth in me as an athlete or as a person because I was going through different seasons and in my body shape. And that played with my head for a really long time. If you also don't know, I grew up competitively dancing, which at that point, everyone was super critical of your physique and you gaining weight or literally just tying your worth to your conditioning level. So I've had to really learn to separate that and really look at strength and performance and other progress points to be able to not struggle so much with it. But yeah, I definitely there's days that I struggle with it more than others. All right, so the next question is, how has my faith changed the way that I approach fitness? And it's changed everything about my fitness journey. Before, fitness was a place of control for me. It was a place of validation and just extreme discipline. And now I see it as complete stewardship. I choose to train and take care of the body that God gave me because it's a blessing. It's His gift to me to do so. And I use it because I feel called to help people and inspire people and impact their journeys with my journey. Again, it's no longer for validation, which is where it used to be majority of the time. So I'm in a very different place now. There's a huge difference between ego-driven training and purpose-driven training. And I feel like I'm really leading with purpose and intention when it comes to how I steward my body and my journey now. All right, so the next question, I feel like I can kind of blend these two together, which is, What separates your coaching from everybody else, and what currently scares me the most right now? So I don't just coach macros and workouts. I really coach identity. So I am focused on mindset, on stress, on your habits, on your patterns, on your emotional regulation, spiritual alignment, which I can't say there's not coaches out there that work on those things. I'm sure that there is, but I feel like how I approach everyone's transformation that I work with is very full of depth. Like, it's not to the surface. It's not here's your workouts and here's your meal plan. Like, we are actually rewiring your identity so that you can sustain this transformation, the person that you're becoming, actually have the habits and the way that you speak to yourself be different, and that way you're able to actually show up and maintain this higher quality version of yourself. And I would say, like, what scares me the most right now is very relatable to what I feel like scares most people, and that's being stretched. It's being taken out of comfort zone. It's allowing yourself to be visible to the world and actually impact people with your authenticity and just being fully embodied and aligned. It's scary being seen. It's scary putting yourself on social media and just being vulnerable with the world. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, but I would say that is the biggest thing right now, is just allowing myself to be uncomfortable and let myself grow into the next chapter and elevate as a person.